Dave Bautista is one of the few WWE superstars that has successfully transitioned to Hollywood. He has taken on many films to make his name in Hollywood. According to the most recent reports, he has also been cast for the action thriller Cooler. Today, we'll be discussing his upcoming film Cooler and also rank his movies from worst to best. Let's start. First, Dave Bautista will star in Drew Pearce's bouncer action thriller Cooler. The action thriller Cooler with Drew Pearce was picked up by Film Nation Entertainment's newly formed production label Infrared, and Dave Bautista will be part of it. Production will start in the summer of 2023, and with Pearce's script, it's sure to be one that people will remember. Cooler is the first project to come out of the first look deal between Infrared and Bautista's Dogbone Entertainment. In the film, Bautista will play Ray Sagona, a South Beach bouncer about to find redemption for his questionable decisions and get his family back. But when a drug-filled safe is stolen from the club where Ray works, he has to find it before the Miami Police Department's Narcotics Bureau comes to take it. Ray's past and present collide in hazardous ways, and he must survive a 36-hour expedition across Miami Beach to retrieve the safe. It's the last hard thing he has to do before he can ask for forgiveness. Up next, Dave Bautista's latest role differs from anything else he's done. Dave Bautista has had a successful career since he switched from being a professional wrestler to a movie star. He's been in some of the most famous movie series of the 21st century, like Dune and Guardians of the Galaxy. He's also been in zombie apocalypse movies like Army of the Dead and Specter, where he fought James Bond. It looks like Bautista is starting a new phase in his career. He plays a supporting role in Rian Johnson's latest whodunit, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, and a brand new trailer for M. Night Shyamalan's upcoming horror film Knock at the Cabin, in which Bautista has a leading role, just came out. Leonard is a pretty complex bad guy as far as scary stories go. We can't say much more because it would be a spoiler, but it's safe to say that this is a big change for Bautista. Following that, Dave and Pearce's collaboration. Pearce will produce with Bautista's Dogbone Entertainment, Jonathan Meisner, Future the Prince, Drake, and their Dream Crew label, as well as Drew Simon and Sam Spicer. Ian Fisher and Toby Harvard are the ones in charge of making Point of No Return. Infrared is also in charge of the movie's financing and sales around the world. Under the direction of Drew Simon, Infrared plans to fund and make commercial movies that have a chance of becoming franchises and have some of the biggest stars in the business. The label wants to make 3 to 4 mid to high budget movies every year that will appeal to a wide range of people and fall into genres like action, thriller, comedy, and science fiction. With Dave at the center of the story and the creative minds at Dream Crew, people couldn't have asked for a better project. Now, let's review the Dave Bautista movies from worst to best. Dave Bautista has been in 22 movies so far, after making the switch from legitimate WWE star to serious actor. Here they are in order of worst to finest. First up, number 10, Riddick. The director and Vin Diesel's return to the Riddick series is a direct continuation of the events of Chronicles, which was released 13 years ago to widespread critical acclaim. Riddick, a gritty blend of sci-fi action and homage to alien creature flicks, skillfully captures the best of the franchise, even though it might not be the best movie to introduce new audiences to Vin Diesel's silent and lethal character. With his portrayal of the deceitful Diaz, played by Dave Bautista, the film adds an interesting narrative twist and gives Riddick one of his toughest opponents to date. Up next, number 9, Escape Plan: The Extractors. After Escape Plan 2: Hades' universally negative reception, no one begged for the third franchise installment, Escape Plan: The Extractors. Even the series star Sylvester Stallone had to be persuaded to rejoin the franchise following his disastrous set experience on Escape Plan 2. This, combined with a tight budget, practically doomed Escape Plan 3 before it even started. Even the continuous presence of Dave Bautista, fresh off the success of Avengers Endgame, failed to bring life to this lifeless, joyless mashup of action names. Now, number 8, LA Slasher. LA Slasher, which was directed by Martin Owen, straddles the line between comedy and horror. It is the perfect example of a movie that is so bad that it's still good. LA Slasher is mostly disgusting as it takes pleasure in the murder and mutilation of its victims, but Andy Dick playing the slasher is a humorous casting choice. The graphics of LA Slasher are striking, but they fall short of making up for the lackluster narrative in this tonally incorrect film, which is a disturbing indictment of filmmaker Owen's preferences. Next, number 7, Kickboxer: Vengeance. Relaunching the Kickboxer martial arts series after 21 years was always going to be a gamble that depended on the audience's sustained interest in the 1989 original movie. The return of Jean-Claude Van Damme as Master Durant was a nice beginning, but Kickboxer: Vengeance still lacks the inventiveness that previously plagued Kickboxer versions 2 through 5. Even multiple brutal fights cannot hide the reality that the Kickboxer franchise should have been put down for the count a long time ago. Dave Bautista plays the tyrannical and terrifying antagonist Tong Po in this film. Now, number 6, Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame, the historic record-breaking cinematic event that concludes MCU Phase 3, is now moving into classic territory. Simply put, Avengers Endgame serves as a showcase for the MCU franchise's ongoing quality and fandom from its its launch in 2008, supported by a cast that took 11 years to assemble and deliver consistently excellent performances. Even though Marvel's Avengers Endgame slightly falls short of its predecessor, Infinity War, in terms of an engaging story, its time heist plot and a celebration of the biggest movie franchise on Earth are breathtaking. To continue, number 5, Marauders. The crime thriller Marauders, like its predecessor Heist before it, is content from the outset to be a pretty formulaic piece of fare that lacks any pretense of self-awareness. Many of the action sequences starring Bautista's Army of the Dead, CIA operative Stockwell dazzle, but as Marauders' plot tries to resolve, its twists grow more and more ridiculous. Despite not having a theatrical release, Marauders has a large budget vibe thanks to its several precise action sequences and expansive shots. However, its typical espionage-style plot falls flat because it relies far too much on improbable turns and twists. Now number 4, The Man with the Iron Fists. With so many factors in place to make The Man with the Iron Fists a hit in 2012, RZA's directorial debut should have been a massive success. Eli Roth serves as the movie's producer and co-screenwriter, besides adding Western star power to the already impressive group of Chinese martial artists. Russell Crowe, Lucy Liu, and Dave Bautista round out the cast. To learn from the legendary director, RZA even spent several months with him on the Kill Bill set in 2003. This makes The Man with the Iron Fists' eventual result even more disappointing. RZA's debut features beautifully choreographed action and Eli Roth's trademark viscera, but this occasionally ungrounded historical drama ultimately serves as a tribute to the Bruce Lee movies that served as its inspiration without ever coming close to matching the legendary martial artist's skill. Next, number 3, Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder, delivers a brilliant if a little drawn-out zombie heist hybrid that lets its renowned director shine. In Snyder's bright, glittery, zombie-infested world, the excessive and nauseating gore in Army of the Dead is still acceptable, and the on-screen violence is supported by many excellent ensemble cast performances. Army of the Dead is a picture that logically combines two divergent genres for an amazing journey, even though it can't compare to its obvious George A. Romero tributes. Now, let's talk about number 2, Heist. Heist, like so many recent action movies, appears willing to rest on the success of its impressive cast without ever giving its paint-by-numbers, uninspired plot a second consideration. It's impossible to criticize Dave Bautista, Robert De Niro, or Jeffrey Dean Morgan for their sincere performances. However, Heist's fabricated story of a casino robbery by a worker who wants to steal money to pay for the care of his sick daughter doesn't fare well for the actors. Heist rapidly turns into the typical sleight of hand fare, since many of its unexpected story turns have been predicted so long in advance that by the time they are finally revealed, they seem inevitable. Finally, number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy. After a time when several of Marvel's most valuable IPs were repeatedly rehashed every few years, Guardians of the Galaxy turned out to be the infusion of newness the MCU had wanted. Given the cartoonish, frequently hyper-comical action sequences and interplay amongst the Guardians themselves, James Gunn's franchise starter was rather audacious in 2014, even if the movie featured many traditional superhero cliches. The MCU's willingness to take risks was also signaled by the Guardians of the Galaxy plot, which opened the door for other less popular Marvel characters like Shang-Chi to be considered for inclusion. That's it for this video. What do you think about Dave's upcoming role in the movie Cooler, and which of his films is your favorite? Please let us know in the comment section below. If you like the videos, hit the like button and share them with your friends. See you next time.